My name is Wang Zhenyi. In just 29 years, I accomplished remarkable things. I brought complex mathematics into the vastness of the cosmos and used experiments to dismantle superstition. You may think of me as one of the most uncompromising scientific pioneers of 18th century China. Within an outdated and rigid system of civilization, I, an ordinary woman, achieved an unprecedented breakthrough at its very foundations. Later, nature recognized me as a scientific pioneer, and the International Astronomical Union named both an asteroid and a lunar crater after me. I was born in 1768, during the Qianlong reign, in Jiangning, modern-day Nanjing, into an official family. At the time, Qing society had already formed a rigid system. Men belonged to the public sphere, women to the domestic. Mathematics and astronomy were dismissed as trivial pursuits, and a woman's value was confined within the household. Any attempt to break these constraints was labeled heretical. But I refused to accept that. From the very beginning, my life was meant to challenge the system at its core. My grandfather, Wang Zhenyi, a former prefect skilled in astronomy and mathematics, possessed a vast library. It was he who gave me my earliest intellectual foundation, allowing me to encounter these subjects from a young age rather than being confined to the narrow space of the inner chambers. My father, Wang Zhenyi, was a physician who often said, "True knowledge comes from practice." That belief became part of who I was, guiding me to remain rigorous, grounded, and never blindly follow convention. At 11, I traveled with my father to Jilin for a funeral and stayed there for 5 years. Unlike the restraint of Jiangnan households, the northern landscapes were vast and open. I learned horseback riding and archery from a Mongolian general's wife, becoming skilled and precise. More importantly, I witnessed the immensity of the land and sky. This experience reshaped my perception. I saw endless grasslands and brilliant stars, and I understood that the world was far greater than any enclosed courtyard. That realization later gave me the courage to question the long-held belief that the heavens are round and the earth is square, and to explore the true causes of eclipses through my own experiments. At 16, I returned south, then traveled across Beijing, Shaanxi, Hubei, and Guangdong. Wherever I went, I refused to remain confined indoors. I sought out scholars, learned from mentors, and broadened my knowledge. These experiences gave me a far more complete intellectual framework than most women of my time and revealed a critical flaw in the system. It restricted knowledge through prejudice, limited growth through rigid norms, and confined women to fragmented lives, preventing them from forming a complete understanding of the world or realizing their full potential. When the theories of Nicholas Copernicus and Tycho Brahe reached China, and May Wending's works integrating Chinese and Western mathematics gained influence, many dismissed them, while others believed such studies were inappropriate for women. I saw something different, an opportunity for intellectual advancement. Inspired by May Wending, I embraced the integration of knowledge, determined to build a system that women, too, could access and master, proving that we could understand both mathematics and the stars. At 20, during the Lantern Festival, as I watched the reflection of lantern light, inspiration struck. I used a hanging lamp as the sun, a round table as the earth, and a mirror as the moon, repeatedly simulating their positions. After countless nights of experimentation, I uncovered the mechanism of lunar eclipses and wrote explanation of lunar eclipses. This work not only overturned the superstition of a celestial dog devouring the moon, but also explained astronomy in clear language with simple illustrations, so ordinary people could understand it. To me, knowledge should never belong to a privileged few. Everyone has the right to understand truth. My work in mathematics was equally transformative. In writings such as Simple Methods of Calculation and Revisions of Western Arithmetic, I broke down complex theories into clear language and practical formulas, enabling beginners to grasp them quickly. It was as if I created a low barrier of entry for knowledge, allowing it to spread beyond the elite and become a shared resource. In On the Roundness of the Earth, I used logic and observation to demonstrate that the Earth is spherical, directly challenging the long-standing belief that it was flat. I knew this would be questioned, but I was unafraid. Truth does not change because it is doubted. I also studied axial precession, a difficult problem in ancient astronomy. While many accepted it without question, I pursued its essence through careful calculation. I corrected the misconception that precession began with the Taichu calendar, identifying Yuxi of the Qing Dynasty as its earliest discoverer, later refined by Qing. I challenged traditional methods and clarified its true mechanism. I also pointed out that the method of determining solar terms did not originate in the Tang Dynasty, but earlier with Zhang Zixin. These were not abstract ideas, but precise corrections to the intellectual system of the time, efforts to move astronomy from speculation towards scientific verification. My vision extended beyond China. I believed that truth should not be judged by its origin. Whether Eastern or Western, knowledge that advances understanding should be embraced. While others debated superiority, I focused on integration, combining Western geometry and trigonometry with traditional Chinese methods and merging observational techniques with existing astronomical frameworks. This approach opened the possibility for continuous intellectual progress. People often see me as a natural genius, but my life was never effortless. It was a solitary struggle against constant constraints. The rigid moral codes of the Qing Dynasty were suffocating. For women, even literacy could be seen as improper, and my pursuit of mathematics and astronomy was considered outright defiance. I once wrote, "What is difficult lies in practice. What matters is the pursuit of truth." Yet the path was filled with doubt. My family urged me to conform. Friends mocked my efforts. Some scholars openly claimed that women lacked the capacity for mathematics. These judgments narrowed my space for survival. I had no opportunity to publish openly or engage publicly in scholarly discourse. All my work, every experiment, every calculation, had to be done quietly in my own room. Even time to study had to be carved out from endless household duties. I did not fear failure. I feared that I might never break the belief that women could not pursue knowledge. At 25, I married John May and became a housewife. From then on, the kitchen and the desk defined my world. I managed household responsibilities and cared for my family, yet I never abandoned my studies. Late at night, when all others slept, I worked under the lamp, revisiting experiments, calculating formulas, and recording my thoughts. I grew accustomed to solitude. It was not weakness, but the foundation of my persistence. I often demonstrated lunar eclipses to villagers, using simple methods to help them understand astronomy and abandon superstition. Knowledge, I believed, belongs to everyone, regardless of status or gender. In my collection Defeng Pavilion, I wrote, "Travel 10,000 miles, read 10,000 books, and aspire beyond men." This was not arrogance, but a declaration of a woman's right to pursue her own value. In the second year of the Jiaqing reign, I passed away at the age of 29. In my lifetime, I wrote 64 works. Most were lost due to prejudice and neglect, leaving only fragments: poetry, essays, and academic writings. I held no political power and achieved no official fame, yet I reshaped something deeper: the logic of civilization itself. I proved that women can master science, that knowledge belongs to all, and that truth is not bound by gender or class. I have no regrets. If given another life, I would choose the same path, still pursuing truth, still breaking boundaries. Through clear language and practical experiments, I transformed complex science into something ordinary people could understand. Explanation of lunar eclipses freed people from superstition. My mathematical works simplified learning. I brought knowledge out of isolation and into everyday life. This idea, making science accessible, turned it from a privilege into a shared resource for society, allowing more people to feel its power and pursue truth. Later, the International Astronomical Union named asteroid 43259 and a lunar crater after me. Nature recognized me as a scientific pioneer, and works such as Power of Numbers, the rebel women of mathematics, listed me among the earliest trailblazers. These honors are not mine alone. They represent a spirit, to break boundaries and pursue truth. In 29 years, I left my name among the stars and inscribed a lasting truth into civilization, that women can create science. My life stands as a powerful rebuttal to prejudice and a vivid embodiment of the scientific spirit. I want to tell those who come after me, progress is never the work of a few, but the collective effort of many. True strength is not defined by systems, but by those who change them. And when you look up at the night sky, remember, there was once a woman of the Qing Dynasty who measured the universe with mathematics, who shattered superstition with experiment, and who proved, with her life, that even an ordinary person can create something eternal.